Hi, my name is Elizabeth Perez, and I will be doing this video on how I would speak to this disruptive employee, as well as speaking about some financing and healthcare reform. So to begin, I would start by speaking to this employee in regards to their negative behavior. So in regards to their negative behavior, one thing that can be addressed in person is saying, hey, I do understand that, we have deadlines to meet. The work can be very stressful. However, these are the comments so-and-so. The comments that the disruptive employee said that were considered to be negative behaviors is something like, this project is turning into a complete disaster. There's just no way we can meet a deadline. And the last one is pessimistic suggestions. All three of these are considered negative behavior because as a team, everyone is trying to complete something on time and work and collaborate together. And when you have someone like this on the team, that negative behavior just impacts everyone. And as you can see as well, it was even impacting the management. So often it takes one person to sometimes ruin an entire team. So another thing I would say to the employee regarding their behavior is offering them help. So say something within the terms of, hey, I noticed that during the meetings you haven't been really suggestive. How about we try to come up with better communication techniques, and if you need help, let me know. How can I help you? Do you need to be enrolled in professionalism classes? Do you need a better way of communicating? Do you get nervous, and is this something that you just say out of nowhere because you don't think? What is the reason? And let's try to get down to that core as to why you're saying these things. I understand sometimes there are people who just say things without thinking, and that does happen, but at the very end of the day, we need to focus on our professionalism. So there are professionalism courses, communication courses, a bunch of things that the company entirely can help you with. Next, but not least from the employee, is that I would explain to the employee that if their behaviors do change, we can have them jump in on more decision-making activities regarding our finances. So something that I was looking into was when it comes to like our break-even analysis and opportunities that relates to cost principles. In this key factor, from my knowledge, I understand that when it comes to finance making decisions, in a team, when someone is working collaboratively, there might be an option to say, hey, should we be cutting costs? Should we be cutting costs here and placing them here? Should we be utilizing and shifting our resources differently? So those types of decisions are something that the employee can jump in on. However, because of their behavior, it's not looking like that at the moment. But if their behavior does change, we can definitely have that employee jump in and make decisions like that. I feel like with this employee, they can definitely rise with the fact that they're not scared to speak. A person who is not scared to speak really excels well, especially in the healthcare finance aspect. Someone who is very brave and motivating. However, he's not motivating, but we can definitely switch that around by offering different sources of help. And, once that employee sees, hey, this is working for me, let me continue doing the good thing, versus something that's not going to continue. In my personal experience, I have seen that employees who remain like this for at least 3 months, their probation period, they get parted ways with. So other times, I have seen that we retain employees because we'll address it in a certain way to offer help, offer a retraining, on another onboarding course, something that we do all the time, is speak to the employee directly. And, sometimes the employee might not even know. It could be just like a nerve thing. This is the first time working in a team. So I feel like this employee in the competency assessment could definitely be turned around. Now, to get started on the key elements in break-even analysis, the two key elements in break-even analysis are anticipated revenue and project costs of doing business. Revenue is largely affected by market demand. The more customers desire your products and services, the greater your sales volume and the sooner you can cover your business costs. The uniqueness of your business size, of the potential target audience, and effectiveness of your promotional techniques all affect the volume of demand you experience over time. So we have a target audience, the effectiveness of our promotional techniques, it continues to build up. And then to move on to explaining how opportunity relates to cost principles. Since resources are limited, every time you make a choice about how to use them, you are choosing to forego other options. Economists use the term opportunity cost to indicate what must be given up to attain something that's desired. A fundamental principle of economics is that every choice has an opportunity cost. The idea behind opportunity cost is that the cost of one item is the lost opportunity to do or consume something else. In short, opportunity cost is the value of the next best alternative. And lastly, to discuss the role of financial analysis in dealing with healthcare reform mandates. I have more than one example, but we'll get through it. Financing policies will be influenced by many considerations other than equity, efficiency, similar arguments identified in summary form by the committee. Again, this discussion does not constitute of an IOM proposal for financing healthcare reform, but rather is an attempt to identify issues and options. So broad options for financing improved access for uninsured and underinsured is reducing expenditures, increasing the productivity, shifting resources, and increasing revenues. So those are my examples for the healthcare reform mandates. So when we analyze this together, oftentimes we'll see either an increase or a decrease in what we need. So I work in enrollment. So whenever there's cutting costs with Medicare and Medicaid, it actually affects us negatively, and it affects our work negatively because we rely on that funding to come in. That's just a personal example. Thank you. Have a good night.